Now this is all about you and what steepens your swing and what shallows your swing. And why do you keep slicing, pulling, pushing and hooking? And how can physical limitations in the way you're built affect your golf swing? And how do you get everything to match up?
It's probably the biggest mistake an amateur can make by getting open. Correctly
Fit you.
Ole!
So you really need to know how to push, how to use the ground better. So there are the combination of things that either you or your coach need to know to match everything up perfectly. Now before you even start to correct your golf swing, you need to know what steepens and what shallows in your downswing. And more importantly is which one fits your body type and what should you do. Now an elite player or a good player has a good combination of both shallowers and steepeners in their swings. Now before they finish the backswing, they have a lateral move which brings the arms in closer to the body, which creates what's called lag, which has a shallowing effect on the club shaft. Now from there they tilt the spine and that's what keeps the shaft shallow. Then they rotate hard, which throws the club out in front of them, and that's a steepener. Then they push off the ground, which is also a steepener, and use the forces to deliver the club head to the ball. Now someone that struggles and slices across the ball has a different sequence of movements. Now from the top of the backswing they rotate both upper and lower body together, which steepens the shaft angle and throws the club out and across the body. Now for release from here, depending on the club face position, if it's square or close to the path, then the ball's going to go left. Or in an attempt to save things, because I can sense things are twisted, I stand up and out of the shot. Now that's where you get the early extenders, the chicken wings. Leaving the face open, the ball starts left and slices back to the right. Now the opposite to that is some players push the ball and block the ball straight to the right, or hook the ball from right to left. Now from the top they have that lateral move and a little bit of side bend which shallows the shaft, but they don't stop, and the shaft shallows too much and then drops back behind them. Now they have no rotation to square things up, so they leave the face open and block the ball straight to the right. Or release hard, closing the face and end up hooking it. So again, the best players in the world have a good blend, a good combination of the two, both shallowers and steepeners. Now anytime the shaft gets too steep, it's generally to do with twisting from the top. Now to shallow from here you need a little bit of side bend, a lateral movement, a little bump, and the lead shoulder working up slightly just to give you more time to shallow the club shaft. Now if you're a player that's getting too shallow, you're going to need something which is going to create some rotation. Now you might need to feel an over-the-top sensation with the shoulder rotation, more parallel to the ground, more rounded rather than tilted or side bend. Now this is also where the ground can come into play. If I shift across into my lead side, my left side, and keep going, then that's shallow. But if I get into my lead side, my left side, and I know how to push, now pushing is a steepener. Pushing creates rotation and throws the club head back out in front of me. So you really need to know how to push, how to use the ground better. Now often it's body mechanics or limitations in range of motion that are the root cause here. And that's why it doesn't matter how hard you try, it's just not gonna work for you. And especially when the ball is there, because the movement that comes out when the ball is there is the movement the body trusts. And you've probably practiced your swing fault more often than the good stuff, haven't you? Come on, tell me the truth. You have, haven't you? Hey? What, me? No, you. Ah.
Don't wanna waste time. I'll never be this young.
And then you go with the apex irons, the standard blade, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to...
Don't wanna chase highs when I'm too worn out.
Now if you do a torso rotation test and you stabilise your lower body and put your hands and arms across your chest, now keep your shoulders perfectly still and rotate your hips. Now if you can't separate your lower body and your hips feel like they're locked, then you're a steepener. I mean, ideally you'd fix your body, but the majority of people I speak to, they don't really want to, don't mention it, they don't really want to do that, you know? Or maybe it's just the way you're built. Now as a coach, I've got to find a way which works and fits you, which is totally fine. That's my job. Now let's take your golf to the next level and meet me at some top golfing destinations. If you go to my homepage, you'll find out more information. Let's hit those fairways and we'll have a blast. It'll be cool. Well, it won't be cool actually, it'll be hot. Nice. Now if that is you, then something which works really well is that you've got to get everything behind you in the backswing. Deeper, flatter, get your arms more across your body. Now in the downswing, often the feeling of keeping your back to the target and just letting your hands and arms drop down first helps you to attack the ball more from the inside. Then when you do turn your lower body and upper body together, then you come down more on plane and you attack the ball more from the inside and everything matches up. Your swing path, club face alignment and your body movements.
But we used to call it holding the angle and releasing. But in the end of the day, it's actually the body, the shoulders are still shut.
Yeah.
This is probably the biggest mistake an amateur can make by getting open. So and again, most amateurs think turn.
Now shoulder rotation is another issue I see a lot with club golfers and amateur golfers. 90 degrees is easy, but beyond that is what causes the shaft to shallow in the downswing. Now if you struggle with range of motion here, then it's gonna steepen you out, especially if you twist and you turn your lower body and upper body together as you head into the downswing. Now if you are a steepener, then you've got to get everything back behind you in both backswing and downswing to offset the inability to separate your lower body from your upper body in your golf swing. Now especially when the range of motion in your shoulder joints is limited, you've got to get everything back behind you. And then you get back down on plane, attack the ball more from the inside, and you'll stop slicing and pulling it and getting the odd shank. Oh, don't mention it. Now you can also use your wrists, wrist bend, flexion or extension in your wrists. Now anytime I flex my wrist back like this, I'm going to be shallowing the shaft angle. Now if I do the opposite, then I'm going to be steepening the shaft angle. Now this is something you see a lot in the short game. A lot of the feeling comes from your hands and your wrists. Now if you're too lateral or too shallow, then you're going to need something which is going to steepen the club shaft. You know, you could have a really good lateral movement, but it could be just too much or too early. Now this is the classic amongst really good players or strong players. When they drop the club too far behind them, they get stuck on the inside and they block the ball straight to the right side, or they flip the hands over through impact and have a massive hook.
And then when you go to the top of your swing, probably the biggest change that Tiger's made is he's really tried to get his hands in front of himself coming down. In other words, arms in front of the body, where the club used to lay down. Show them how, in your old swing when you used to get stuck.
My ole swing?
Yes.
I go, ole!
That's the lay the shaft down 16th tee Players
stuck.
Championship, right?
So now you've got to steepen to offset this. And the easiest way to do this is to push off with your lead foot, your left foot, push off from the ground, which throws the club head out in front of you. So you've gone from shallow to steep to back on plane. Now wrists can be a shallow or a steepener. Shoulders can be a shallow or a steepener. Any kind of twisting move is a steepener. Any kind of lateral move is a shallower. So there are the combination of things that either you or your coach need to know to match everything up perfectly, you know, from your build, your limitations, your strengths, your weaknesses, and your style of play. And you can play some great golf this way. But everything has got to match up. Perfect. Great swing. Yeah, cracking shot that. Great shot that, mate. Oof, on the green.
It's over the green.
It's over the green. It's too good.